Daniele Doveri. Terrific win for Genoa. Last time out at Sassuolo. Inter beware. The prize, of course, is not to be won in December or January, but a win ensures that they will be called the winter champions. That won't interest Inter very much, will it? And remember, they don't even technically reach halfway until the game's on the first weekend of January. But what is important to Inter tonight is to try to move 7 clear of Juventus, 14 clear of Milan before the halfway mark. And Napoli have lost further ground earlier this evening, held at home by Monza. Fiorentina have picked up the 3 points to move on to Milan's shoulder. They edged out Torino in the other early start. Stiff backbone to this Genoa side and a spiky edge to it, especially in recent weeks with Ekuban here and Gudmundsson playing off him. And they both get a nice early touch to settle in. Gudmundsson's got 7 Serie A goals already this season. Aaron Martin brought into the side by Gilardino tonight with that cross. You know it better than me, Adam, but I watched them in the warm-up and I said to myself, they look a really confident side. This is a tailor-made game, is it not, at Christmas time?
Well, it certainly is. I mean, it's a huge game for both teams for certainly different reasons, but we've been here a few times this season now, in particular the game against Juventus a couple of weeks ago, where second half they were excellent and possibly could have come away with 3 points. Teams have come here and found it very, very difficult, apart from Fiorentina.
Arnautovic did well, and through the middle goes Mkhitaryan immediately for Inter. He was closed down well. Vanni made up some yards on him.
I think Inter will know they'll be in a game, as I mentioned. Only Fiorentina have come here and won 4-1 comfortably. The only other defeat was to Milan, and that was a late Perisic goal. Comfortably beaten Roma here, taking points off Napoli here. Simone Inzaghi will certainly know his players, as strong as they are going forward, as strong as they are defensively. Will certainly have to be on it, especially missing Lautaro Martinez down the middle, their main goal scorer.
Isn't it brilliant to see this stadium vibrant again after the dog years, if you like, with Sampdoria and Genoa both struggling to establish a real foothold in Serie A. Sampdoria went down inch by inch, clinging on in Serie A just about year on year. Wasn't much better for Genoa, although 2021, for all the disruptions, they seem to come through it better than a lot of other clubs, finished mid-table, but either side of that, like their co-tenant Sampdoria, only just surviving. But now they've gone down, they've regrouped, and they look like they're feeling pretty good about staying up. If they were to win 22 points on the board before halfway.
Oh, that would be huge.
And here's the man who's guided them fairly flawlessly through the first half of this season. They've got 2 former top draw strikers in opposition tonight as the coaches. Gilardino, part of that generation, more really with Filippo Inzaghi, among others. Andrea Pirlo, of course, here at Sampdoria this season, with mixed fortunes so far. They did threaten to get on a real roll in Serie B, Sampdoria. Others like Alessandro Nesta from the class of the 2000s for Italy, superstar player, finding it harder as a coach. And another intriguing development, non-Italian of course, but Cesc Fabregas now at Serie B Como, who are very handily placed, although he's going to have to step aside for a while because he doesn't have the full coaching license. Made off by Gudmundsson. Showed a nice touch before that. Bastoni out of the middle, did well. Mkhitaryan. Çalhanoğlu, ace provider in the win over Lecce. And here's Marcus Thuram. Found Arnautovic. Darmian. Benjamin Pavard only on the bench tonight for Inter. And although reportedly Davide Fratesi would not be involved, he has actually been named as a substitute. Arnautovic offside.
Yeah, it's a little early run there from Arnautovic. I think Inter just going to have to be patient, trying to break through this Genoa back line. So the change in the team that's been made, Strootman coming in for Malinowski, certainly seems that's solidarity in that midfield area. Martin down that left-hand side for Vazquez. Gets forward well. I wouldn't say both of them are really anticipating good one-on-one defending between them, so it really could have been a toss-up of a coin between both of those starting, but you can certainly understand why Strootman's coming to that central midfield area.
So, Adam, we've got Bedell at 34, Strootman a year younger, but a lot of games between them.
They do, yeah. I mean, they're so important, especially Bedell, for the way that they try and control that midfield area as best as they can, and they're going to have to do that well with the ball against a very, very organised, disciplined Inter Milan side.
Gudmundsson found some room again. Sabelli down the right, Bastoni's head. Barella couldn't get to it. Adam Martin, another interesting pickup in the transfer market. We watched him as a young player who was released by Real Madrid and went to the Bundesliga. Looked a kid of real promise 4 or 5 years ago, but he had a bad injury, didn't he? He's already produced one good cross, and now he steps inside. On his outside, with Inter. Gudmundsson. Tony de Winter. Monza, more evidence even this evening of how well they've adjusted, Adam, to the life in the higher division over the last 18 months or so. This Genoa side looks very comfortable playing against Inter here, doesn't it?
They've started well. Really start well, just in terms of not giving Inter too many opportunities and chances and allow them to control the game. Get that early ball into the box as Martin did on that left-hand side. You come up against a side that only conceded 2 away goals all season. It's a pretty formidable record to have defensively and still score a decent amount of goals in return.
Inzaghi, in his address to the Inter supporters all around the world for Christmas, said, "We believe as a club we've had a reasonably good year, but we know that more is required." That starts and finishes with regaining the Serie A title. Anything in the Champions League a bonus. They've come through their group very solidly indeed, undefeated actually, yeah. 3 draws, 3 wins, 12 points along with Real Sociedad, but Real Sociedad topped the group.
Tough time now against Atletico Madrid.
What a game that's going to be.
Yeah, great game on paper.
Arnautovic. Barella. Marco Arnautovic to the back post. Thuram with the header. Doing his best to hold off Bagni.
Yeah, teasing ball to the far post. Not could have been given the amount of shirt that Thuram had on Bagni there.
Had quite a lot of shirts, yeah. Didn't he? Martinez, the goalkeeper. He was brought in for Adrien Semper by Genoa during the promotion season. Semper has actually moved on very successfully to Como in Serie B, and the way it's going, he might be a Serie A goalkeeper next season. I wonder if there's a small part of the corner of the heart of the Genoa fans wishing that Sampdoria do make it so that we can have a Serie A derby again next season.
Yeah, I think as much as rivalries are always going to be there, and sometimes certain fans will want to see other sides suffer. Being a former Celtic player, when you see Rangers being relegated down to the bottom leagues in Scotland, you just lost that. You lose that kind of competitiveness, spirit and everything.
Well, the whole world is that one. Comfortable for the Cherby. Another player to make his mark, Jan Bisek, in that back line for Inter at the moment. Only just turned 23, the young man in possession here. Got a lovely goal last week, might have had two.
Yeah, he's settling nicely alongside Cherby and Bastoni. Majority of the season on the bench, but always going to be breaking to this Inter side's always going to be difficult. But I think the last 3 games has been excellent.
He must be pinching himself that he's playing for Inter, given the road he's travelled at that very young age. 4 or 5 clubs down the line, he's playing for one of the top teams in the world. Via Holstein Kiel in the 2nd division in Germany. Vittorio Guimaraes briefly, Aarhus in Denmark, and Roda JC in the Eredivisie. Bastoni, Mkhitaryan, Carlos Augusto, signed from Monza. Certainly getting his fair share of games as well. Canononi indicated there that the throw-in wasn't really to his liking. Bit of a perfectionist. One league defeat for Inter so far this season. Admirable record. Ekuban finding a bit of room again. Fouled by Mkhitaryan.
That's delivered there from Mkhitaryan. Ekuban maybe just asking for the yellow card there. Deliberate pullback to stop the counter-attack happening.
Showed against Juventus, they can really give the big boys big trouble. Memorable second half, wasn't it, Adam?
Oh, they were brilliant.
A couple of weeks ago, superb effort.
Yeah, second half.
Might have won it.
Yeah, second half they were superb and got that early goal, didn't they? And really did put that Juventus side under a lot of pressure.
And the crowd was a huge factor, I must say. They believe, and increasingly it does appear that their players believe. Floated up there by Martin. Able to get to that, De Winter.
He did really well, asking a lot there to keep it in, and he did that brilliantly. Just a shame that none of his teammates around him reacted to it.
Bastoni clears again. Arnautovic is after it. Got a piece of it. He's looking fit and strong, Arnautovic, and that's got to be good news for Inter, I think. Nine appearances off the bench since returning for this season. Second spell, 13 years after the first brief spell. Barella. Might have got the call from Darmian there, if so that was good play from Darmian. Very evocative to see the smoke drifting across the stadium. Echoes of bygone eras here. Sampdoria's great days in the 90s, late 80s and 90s. At the moment, Genoa are lords of this manor.
I'd say Inter have started okay. I wouldn't say they've started well at all. This was the foul on Arnautovic, which I think he certainly had a case for.
The issue here is whether the referee De Veri feels that visibility has been impaired by these flares going off.
It's not ideal, is it?
Is that they're trying to blow them away? Got to be at the discretion of the referee ultimately,
Of
hasn't
course,
it?
yeah. I mean, not ideal. Inter playing in white as well. Yeah, saying to the players they have to go off
Yeah,
now.
it looks like it. It's a very thin line between enthusiasm and something which is counterproductive.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, the people that don't benefit are Genoa, because I thought they started the game fairly well. Good couple of early opportunities, and Inter have been a bit slow out the blocks, and now just may give a bit of time to Inzaghi to get his players together and regroup and start again, but I think it's just going to affect the home team more than anything.
We are, of course, in a port city here, Genoa, but it's a bit different, for example, to the scenario in a place like Cagliari, where you can be sure that the breeze is going to blow everything out to sea very quickly. It's in a little bit of a basin here. So a little bit of keepy-uppy for Sommer to stay occupied, the Inter goalkeeper. It's not the first time it's happened here in this ground, let's be honest. But it had been a bright start from Genoa, picking up from the performance level of recent weeks. And maybe the point there made by Inzaghi is that there's been a little bit of space, hasn't there?
Yeah, I think
middle of the field.
I just think they've just been a bit off here. I don't think they've started with the tempo. I don't think they've gained control of the ball well enough to make Genoa work without it. And just listen, they've had a fantastic year, fantastic season. Don't get me wrong, but just at the moment, they need maybe just up their game, up the tempo a little bit, just to bring themselves back into the game. I think he'll be frustrated more than anything, so I think he'll be pleased with the way that his side has started. This long break won't certainly help the players.
Should you say, in fairness to the referee as well, sometimes the images on a TV screen via the TV cameras don't quite tell the story of what the visibility level is really like. They can basically make it look a bit brighter than it is. So an unscheduled break here. The coverage from Serie A and TNT Sports continues throughout the weekend. On Saturday, the first game is Atalanta at home to Lecce at 11:30 on TNT Sports 2. Milan had a lot of work to do. They're at home to Sassuolo. No easy fixture, that. That's on TNT Sports 1 at 5:15. Also coming, Verona at home to Salernitana on TNT Sports 3 in the same time slot. And how many points will Juventus be adrift of Inter by the time they go out to meet Roma? But what a prospect to round out match day 18, and that game comes up on TNT Sports 1 tomorrow evening at 7:30. Then there's the pause for New Year, and then we do reach the halfway point of the season, match day 19, the following weekend, 4, 5, 6 of January. Flicked onto this channel. The game here between Genoa and Inter has been stopped because of the smoke from the flares, and the referee Daveri decided that the visibility is not good enough to continue for the moment. That's probably what, Adam, 5 minutes ago now.
Yeah, that's about the 15-minute mark, wasn't it, when the referee decided to take the players off. Players just now trying to go through their final bits of warm-up for, seems like in the next couple of minutes, the ref's going to continue play again.
A lot of the players seem to want to play on, Adam.
Yeah, obviously Arnautovic talking to the referee there.
Acerbi had a go, didn't he, at the referee a couple of moments prior to that. Into the 6th minute of this pause. If I'm sounding slightly underwhelmed by all this, it's because I've seen it here so often over the years, and if it's not the smoke bombs, it's the fog in the winter very often. Hopefully this will go the way of all the others. That's to say, there comes a point where we get on with it. The thumbs up. Doesn't need a flashlight. You can see the two goalkeepers. Hopefully the ball's about to get moved again. Here we go. So the real game time is approximately 17 minutes. And in that 17 minutes, Genoa looked very, very lively, coming off a couple of terrific performances. I think you knew already that they'd be in a game. Lighting effect, obviously provided by the mixture of the fog and the advertising hoardings. As somebody once said, please do not adjust your set. Inter got a free kick this time, Arnautovic. Out on Martin.
It's a little bit late there. Wing back on wing back at the moment. Inter just need to move the ball a little bit quicker, use the space better, because Genoa are dropping back deep into their shape and being quite resilient to break down and being working hard without the ball at the moment. We certainly know that the qualities of Çalhanoğlu from this distance are putting a quality ball into the box.
As he did most recently, expertly, against Lecce. Barella leads him to it. No problem for Martinez. Captain Frendro. De Winter. Martin. Got a bit tight there for De Winter. Now Cherby, remorselessly hammering out the games week to week at his stage in his career. It's a remarkable effort, isn't it?
Yeah,
to become the absolute cornerstone at Inter at that time in your life.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of doing.
Yeah, great professional, great player.
Now Thuram, who's had plenty of good moments this season, rising to the challenge. Some question whether he managed to make the grade as an Inter player. We know better now.
Yeah, brilliant signing for Inter, as you mentioned. Questions were possibly asked before he came in. Could he wear the pressure of the shirt and take the responsibility on, especially at his age, where he's been a little bit hit and miss. He had a good season at Mönchengladbach, that he found a double figures that season.
Bastoni always so confident with the ball at his feet, even when he seemed to be losing that one. Wriggled free. Now Bisek. Only his fourth Serie A start tonight. Rebounded to Çalhanoğlu. Arnautovic looking for a sight of goal. Then he tried to improvise. He did so. Carlos Augusto came in from the other flank. It's beginning to show their teeth. Little Barella got the head on that. Arnautovic waited for it. He missed it. We know he's capable. Fancied his chances.
That was a good first touch there from Arnautovic, and it was a brilliant ball to the far post. Unfortunately, Thuram wasn't quite there. He defended it well in the end, Genoa. I think it's an area when in to get the ball on the halfway line. Bisek and Bastoni, I think they need to run into space because they're dropping off so deep, Genoa, and they're trying to pass it into that midfield area where they're getting a little bit caught with it. This is two wide centaurs, run into space, use the space set.
Bounced away from Gudmundsson. Cherby didn't get up very quickly though, did he? And now the attention of the referee is called to that.
I'm surprised he stopped it, to be honest, because Inter were in a decent position with the ball on the halfway line.
Referee's always right, Adam, you know that. Damian ventured forward. De Winter. Small change in the plot since that stoppage in play. Genoa haven't quite got into their rhythm again just yet.
Yeah, a little bit slow, certainly expected. Nothing's really changed from Simone Inzaghi's team so far.
Kuban. Good one to seen off by a Cherby. Bastoni. Cherby almost exchanging roles there, those two left-footed centre-backs for the moment. Might be seen as a foul by Arnautovic. The assistant was very clearly of the mind that it was. And he gets a little look from Arnautovic.
So it's clever defending. Exactly what he was doing there, drawing in the foul. Arnautovic getting a little bit too tight. Even just minimal contact, players will go down.
Strong in the air. Gilardino just said to the keeper, to his own keeper there, just drop it on another 5 yards, I think. What an expert in the art of the little flick on Gilardino was, incidentally. That's got a bit more depth to it. And the centre-back's in a bit of trouble. Ekuban, here's Gudmundsson. Reverse it back to Ekuban rather than hit it as the crowd all screamed. And he can't get the header, but Martin keeps it alive for Genoa. That is a real warning again for Inter, but it might have been worse.
Really good play there from Ekuban, just leaning on Acerbi there when he went up for the header, and that's not really committing the foul. Just being slight, being clever. Maybe an extra pass that maybe they could have done without to test Sommer in the goal.
I'm surprised Gudmundsson didn't hit it.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying there. Opportunity to hit it.
Bit of a damp Genoa night getting into the TV cables as well, I think. Apologies for that. Another intervention from the referee. Martin crosses well. Decent return by Bedell. Inter stand firm though, as Adam's rightly said. Brilliant defensive record this season. There's a little glimpse of why.
Yeah. Just seems like at the minute, defences have to keep them in the game, keep them in this first half. Not necessarily being under a lot of pressure, but moments just like that where opportunities and chances from set plays.
Incidentally, Gilardino just marking the first anniversary of getting the job here. 6th of December 2022. Started with a win over Südtirol to kick-start Genoa's ailing promotion bid under the previous manager Blessing. They've gone 5 games without a win, but Gilardino won his first game and really never looked back. Hasn't looked back this season, really. Rebuilding. There's some smart work in the transfer market by Genoa. I only mention it because a lot of coaches have had 1 year and not much else here at Genoa. Blessing, the previous incumbent, got a year, Adam. In and out, Davide Ballardini, 4 spells, none of them particularly secure.
They've only lost back-to-back games once this season, so they always seem to react well to defeats, at keeping them up there.
Martin again. Marcus Thuram headed that one. Then Augusto. Can Barella get to it for Inter? Not quite. Kevin Strootman. With Inter. But only on the edge of the box. Got it eventually. Sabelli short. Oh, that is millimetres away from the opener tonight. Sommer was absolutely rooted to the spot. The goalkeeper didn't know which way it would go. Acerbi may have got the touch there, Adam. Banyu was coming in. Could it have been closer?
That's a brilliant ball in there, it really was. Well, you just wonder how that has missed the post. That is so close.
So again, as in the countdown to the kickoff, the atmosphere is really building here tonight. Brilliant scenario. And Genoa mighty close to the opener there. Martin to take their corner. Bisek again. Returned by Strootman. Thuram got his head on it again. Arnautovic does get a free kick this time, and he did well for his team.
Well played. It's as poor as I've seen an Inter side in the first half an hour. I have not really got going, but I have to give full credit to Genoa more than anything, that they've started on the front foot, started with a purpose, talking about how difficult it is to come here and pick up points.
They watched Juventus getting, I won't say a real going over as such, but under so much pressure in the second half of that game. There is just something about the way Inter defend, though, isn't there?
Yeah.
They look like a team, Adam, that are comfortable, almost a team that enjoys defending. Bisek has a little run forward, steered it in there. Thuram shot blocked down well by Genoa. Vidal on duty. Damian tells Bisek, I'm going to throw this one long. Which he can do.
He can do. It also shows where Inter are in this first half of trying to get a different way into the box.
Mind you, it's not the longest run up here, is it? I think you paid for it there. Not quite the expanse of San Siro here. It's comfortable. Martinez gets everything behind it. That's not in the great canon of Calhanoglu efforts from that range, given the spectacular ability he's got. Martinez steered it to Gudmundsson. He tried to steer it to Ekuban. Bastoni. On out of it, Mitch missed it, but he liked the idea of it.
Cicarelli in midfield screaming at his players to keep the ball better than what they're doing. Kind of forcing the ball forward there into Arnautovic.
Well, during the stoppage in the play, he pulled Barella and Calhanoglu to the side, didn't he? Mopped up by Bastoni on his weaker right foot, didn't clear his lines. Vidal has the time to line up the shot, but took half a second too long, and there was Bastoni out to him. And he might try and block the cross as well here. Gudmundsson, he does block it. Bell drives it in. Cherby was on duty. So far, so strong from Inter defending these. Potentially got a free man here. Genoa. Bani was the one who looked to me all along like he was going to be free, and he very nearly got his head on that. Bounced fortuitously off Calhanoglu. In to go on with Barella, trying to hunt it. Well played Sabelli there.
That's twice now. There's another advantage there for Genoa. I thought that was 6 in one, half a dozen of the other, to be honest. I didn't think that really gave away too much, but then when the clearance was made, Genoa were in a good counter-attacking position down his left-hand side.
In the middle has got in the middle of this a bit too much, hasn't he, at times, perhaps. Off the top of Acerbi's head, Bastoni was waiting to help him out. Here's Barella. Strickland forward. Ekuban not really had the chance to run, and Bastoni very keen to stop him having the chance to run there.
Well, he just ran straight across him. It's a deliberate block there to stop Ekuban running through. See Bastoni there following the run, nowhere near the ball, and just blocks him. referee as well.
That's the near thing for a Cherby. Oh, that is so close. And Bani couldn't arrive in time, and he wasn't far away from doing so. No lasting damage to Ekaban. Strickland gives it back to Inter. They